Welcome back, fake genetic freaks. Today we got day 42 and 43. I'm not actually sure of the dunk journey at 5'9". Today we're doing, or yesterday or 2 days ago, I guess we started with some hurdle jumps. These are the exact same as the actual hurdles that I was doing into the sand. There's just a pad, just because this bar is a lot easier to adjust than a hurdle instead of stacking up 45s and whatnot. So I've been doing it this way. I count these as hurdle jumps instead of high jumps because I land each one of these on a high jump. I turn backwards, land on my back, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, so also the I went into some sprints. The volume's been going up a lot. We're sitting at like 100 meters per workout, which is, I feel like, a really good spot, especially at the power phase right now. So it's a lot more than last training cycle. But yeah, it's been really good. I did some 30s, and I'm still trying to figure out how I want to start the timer on these 30s, because I know like a 40 time for the NFL combine, they go off of when your hand comes off the ground, like those lasers. And so I feel like that's a lot different than, my first move. I've been going off of the knee drop. So once my knee drops so that I can get forward leverage, then I start the timer. And I think that gives a little bit of a not reverse benefit, whatever it's called, disadvantage to myself. So I'm running slower times than I would with a laser or whatever. But honestly, I'm just trying to beat myself. So I'm trying to compete against myself, and that is what matters. Just getting faster each time. It doesn't really matter what my 30-meter time is compared to these guys. But yeah, then I went into this third to last workout of my power cycle, and I was actually so happy with this. I was cleaning super well. I did power cleans, 220 for 2, multiple different sets, and then I think 215 for 2 on a few other sets. I think it was two of the 220s and then 3 of the 215s. Also, first handstand push-up ever, which was pretty crazy. I just did it just to see if I could do it. But yeah. And then also went into some heavy pin squats, and these are the exact same as the front squats. They're actually so hard, and I don't know why. I think there's probably a lot to do with like the tendon stretch shortening cycle. There's not as much of an elastic thing going on with it. Like the tendons are not able to give a little bounce out of the bottom because there is no bottom. Also, this is me and my friend wrestling, just, had to at the end of the workout. And then we finished up with some cardio. But yeah, overall feeling really good about this power cycle. I am going to make a video where I just talk about purely what I've learned from this power cycle and what I've learned from my last strength cycle, what things I'm going to change, what things I'm going to definitely keep the same, what things I think translated over super well to, my standing vert, my approach jump, my just overall strength gain, my power gains. Because, honestly, the power cleans, the hang cleans, gone up so much. The standing vert gone up so much. And so, yeah, I'll analyze those two. It'll be a totally different type of video, but I think it'll still be fun. Also, we started hitting some cardio. I'm just trying to get more volume on my tissues, making sure my ankles and feet are healthy, and that's why we're doing it on grass. But, I was a swimmer, so I feel like my lung capacity is still low-key pretty good. So, even this kind of a run is just not even rough for me at all. But yeah, so today's topic, I want to talk about upper body strength and the impact that that has on vertical jump and just overall athleticism in general. So I would say, in my personal opinion, if you get stronger, you are most likely going to get a little bit bigger. You're going to pack on a little bit of weight. So if somebody's bench press goes from 135 to 225, most likely they're going to put on a few pounds. There's definitely a possibility that they don't, and you can stay the same weight and get stronger, but most likely they are going to get bigger, and I think that is just a negative impact on your vertical jump. Like, if your legs don't get stronger and you get bigger upper body, even if you're still super lean, you're going to jump lower. Like, if your legs can't produce more force, then you're going to jump lower. And, people would argue, well, your arm swing has an impact on your, on like getting your center of mass higher. And so if you can swing your arms harder, then you can get your center of mass higher faster, which is very true. However, when you push your arms up, when you get your center of mass higher, your legs have to push against the ground. And the harder that you get the harder or faster that you get your arms into the air, the harder or faster that your legs also need to be pushing into the ground. So it's kind of like an equal and opposite reaction kind of thing. So just because your arm swing is faster does not mean that you are going to jump higher, which is kind of interesting, but I mean, that's just how it goes. Now, for the case that you get stronger upper body and you don't get heavier. Now, this is totally different than getting bigger, faster, stronger, This is one of those cases where I don't think it will help at all with vertical jump in and of itself. Like I was talking about before, if you can swing your arms faster, I don't think that's going to make any difference unless your legs get stronger too. However, this is not the same with dunking, doing trick dunks. If you can move the ball faster around, like, you are going to be able to do better dunks, more impressive dunks. But it's a little different when you're just talking about vertical jump because of the physics of it. But I do upper body a lot. I do upper body just as much as I do legs, and I love it. It's so much fun. My all-time best bench press was like 245 to 255. I've been able to do like pull-ups with a plate attached to me, like weighted pull-ups, like plenty of reps, whatnot. I just did a handstand push-up. You guys saw that. Whatever. But I train upper body quite a bit, and the reason for it is I'm not specifically only training to jump higher. I want to be an overall athletic person. That's why I do cardio. That's why I go play volleyball with my friends. I want to be coordinated. That's why I play sports instead of just like work on just jumps. And I feel like if you have the missing link of your upper body and it's just not comparable to your lower body, then you're kind of lacking in overall athleticism. And I would say, if I was going to get in a dangerous situation and I had to either run for my life, fight for my life, protect somebody, do whatever to make sure that life still, I'm saving a life or protecting my own life, you are definitely going to need more than just your lower body. Like, you can sprint away from anything if you're the fastest person, but if somebody's super aggressive and you need to push them away, or you need to help somebody and pull them up or pick them up or whatever, you need your upper body to do that. And if you get into any kind of fight, you're going to need an upper body, any kind of punching, any kind of wrestling, it is so heavy, dominantly upper body. And so that's one of the reasons I train it. Another one is just for fun. I just like training it. But I think one of the reasons that I train it and use it for my vert is because of these right here. So I think Olympic lifts are super, super important for my vertical jump. And I know that if my pull strength and my push strength, where I can, have healthy shoulders, healthy elbows, healthy biceps, back muscles, all that, chest muscles even, if I can have those super healthy, then my upper body is not the limiting factor, and my legs can actually produce the force that they want to. And the higher the outputs you can put into something, the more specific you can get to your vertical jump. And so I really like making sure that my upper body is strong so that I can do things like power clean, so that I can do things like front squats. And even in this situation, like, I go for a really heavy single or double and I fail a rep. Like, sometimes it gets to the point where all I need is like my upper body to help save me from getting crushed by the weight or whatever. I'm not saying that I want my upper body to be stronger than my lower body, because that is just like actually crazy. But I want it to be super strong to be able to handle that right there. I want to be able to pull. I want my back muscles, my bicep muscles to be able to pull. I want my shoulders to be able to shrug. And then I want to be able to push up on the bar and keep it in the front rack position. Yeah, and then also, like, I just think that it's just super important for all those things, but also talking about like core stuff. Like, I don't really train my core a whole lot. I do 2 sets of like sit-ups or whatever, like weighted sit-ups. But I think a lot of upper body exercises help with your core, and we know that your core is a super important part of jumping. It's like, when you're jumping on sand or like a mattress or whatever, or like a high jump pad, and you put so much force into this mat, but it like gives out, and so you're just pushing into it instead of like pushing away from it. It's kind of the same way with your core. Like, imagine you have sand underneath you, and then above your hips you have sand, and so if your core is not stable, if it's not secure, if it's not strong, then you're kind of just losing power into the thing. You're just pushing into your core instead of like your core away from your legs. And I think a lot of upper body stuff, especially like shoulders, some back stuff, any kind of like dumbbell work is really good for your core. Anything where you're standing and doing upper body is like just amazing for your core. And so, yeah, I think those are the reasons that I think that you should do you should do upper body for your vert. However, I still don't believe that it is directly correlated to getting a higher jump, because if you isolate the variables, if you don't jump and you have a 30-inch vert, let's say 20-inch, that's a little extreme. If you have a 20-inch vert, you've never jumped, you hit upper body, you get super strong. I don't think your vert's going up at all if you haven't trained any jumps in that time, if you haven't gotten stronger in your legs. I just don't think that's happening. But yeah, I think that if you add it into the rest of your training, it's super good. Oh, and also one point that I forgot to mention, it keeps you in shape. Like, training upper body is just super healthy for you. You're burning more calories, so you're going to be a little bit leaner than normal. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the video.